This is the top 5 meta loadouts in Warzone and Rebirth Island. You're going to be able to use basically all of these in ranked play, and they have basically no recoil. So we're going to start out with the static HV and the DTIR 3006. These are the absolute metas right now. Throwing the quartermaster suppressor keeps you off the minimap and helps with gun kick control and recoil control. Now you do lose some aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. That's not really a big deal when you see the benefits of the recoil control. 10% for recoil gun kick, 23% for horizontal recoil, and 10% for vertical. When you think about it, the ZM35 is the only thing that comes significantly close, but the downside is you don't really get to stay off the mini map with the Zemin 35. But if you don't have the quartermaster unlocked, then this is the best alternative. Do not use a Jack PFB. As much as you see the recoil control benefits, look at the range reduction. You're gonna have basically no bullet velocity, and you're gonna wonder why the enemy's bullets are taking you out faster than yours. This is not a good choice. Sonic Suppressor is going to give you more recoil. It will give you more range, but it does not help in regards to recoil. So this is the best choice. This already has great range, so make sure you put this on here. Holger 840 Light Barrel for aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, movement speed, and hip fire and tac stance spread at the cost of recoil control and gun kick control. You get mobility and handling increase along with some accuracy. You do lose some recoil control, but we already took care of that with the previous attachment. Now, if you're not too much of a fan of movement, then you can use the Garrett 8 Long Barrel for a 25% increase of range across the board, effective minimum and bullet velocity. Fantastic choice, honestly. I'm not opposed to either of these. I am leaning towards Auger 840 Light Barrel. That's what I always use, but I do see the significance of using the Garrett 8 Long Barrel. Jack Slash is my personal preference now for the movement speed, sprint speed, and vertical recoil at the cost of hip fire spread and tac stance spread. This increases your vertical recoil control by 8%. Mobility goes up significantly. Now, I do see a lot of people saying, well, what about paracord grip? And that's a good argument. This is actually very good as well. The only thing is these two supplement two different things. Now, this does help with horizontal recoil, and when you look at it, they both help movement speed 4%, but this helps ADS movement speed by 5% and sprint to fire speed by 13%, where this helps crouch movement speed, sprint speed, and tac sprint speed by around 3%, 4% each. You really have to weigh your pros and cons. Whichever one you want is completely up to you, but I prefer the Jack Slash. I chose the Jack Glasses Optic. Now, I'm not going to lie, I do love the NITR model 2023 for no cons whatsoever. The Jack Glasses Optic does have a 3% reduction of ADS speed, so if you care about a little bit of reduction on that, then you probably should just use the NITR, but this does help with firing aim stability significantly. I thought that it wouldn't, but in my opinion, when I started using it, I started doing much better. So between the NITR model 2023 and the Jack Glasses Optic, completely up to you. I won't fault you on using either. Finally, SPRY 34 Light Stock for aim walking speed, sprint speed, movement speed, aim down sight speed at the cost of aiming out sway, firing aim stability, and gun kick control. This is a fantastic choice for mobility and handling. You get a slight reduction of recoil gun kick, but you're going to see that that doesn't even matter. Now that we're in the firing range, this thing takes no effort to use whatsoever. I barely touched Call of Duty today. Like, I've shot a few targets from a previous video, but you see how easy it is to actually use this weapon. It's absolutely beautiful, and honestly, I think that I'd be surprised if anybody wasn't using this gun against you. So anybody watching this class setup video, they're going to be using this class setup. So please use it so you don't lose to it. Next, we're on the DTIR 3006. Throw on the quartermaster suppressor to keep you off the minimap, gun kick control, and recoil control at the cost of aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. Now, the interesting thing about this one is 11% recoil gun kick versus 10% for everything else. It's kind of crazy. For some reason, this weapon, and I guess ARs may get special treatment. I don't even think it's all ARs. I think it's just specific ones like this one. But 23% for horizontal recoil, 10% for vertical. You get a reduction of handling, which does not really matter. Extend 10 long barrel for bullet velocity and range, damage range, and movement speed at the cost of hip fire and tac stance spread. You get a 20% increase of range across the board. I mean, you can't really beat that. Effective minimum and bullet velocity. It's kind of nuts. And you also get an increase of mobility. The things that you lose don't really matter, like hip fire spread, tac stance spread. I mean, who's hip firing or tac stancing this weapon? Nobody. Oriole Eagle's Eye 2.5 times is my preference, just because I feel like I get better hit registration than the Jack Glasses Optic. But if you choose that, completely fine. I just feel like I get much better hit reg with this. So Oriole Eagle's Eye. 40 round mags for as many bullets as possible, and Rifleman 200 stock for recoil control, aiming out sway, gun kick control at the cost of aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, and movement speed. 17% across the board for recoil control. And then you lose some mobility and handling, which is not a big deal because this thing is absolutely broken. And as you see, this thing takes no effort to actually use. This is why I don't think that the Sanctum 60 attachment is actually worth it, just because this thing doesn't move in the first place. So if it doesn't really move, what's the point of actually putting on something that helps with recoil? So here's the entire class setup right here. Take a picture, screenshot, whatever you guys have to do. Been seeing a lot of people using this Superior 46 again, and so I have to give you guys the best build for it. Throwing the quartermaster suppressor to keep you off the minimap, gun kick control, and recoil control at the cost of aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. 10%, 23%, and 10% for recoil control. Very nice. Zulu Ops 3 light barrel for crouch movement speed and aim walking speed at the cost of hip fire attack stand spread and flinch resistance. The reason why I choose this, first of all, ADS movement speed up 14%, which is amazing. I see a lot of people using the Bore 99 short barrel. I don't think this is worth it. Despite all the mobility and handling increases, look at the range reduction, 8%, 8%, and 7%. I just don't think it's worth it to lose all these benefits for a little bit more movement. I think you should keep the range increase with the mobility increase with the Zulu Ops 3. But if you prefer the Bore 99, be my guest. I just wouldn't use it. XRK Edge BW for hand stop for aim walking speed, movement speed, aim down sight speed, and sprint to fire speed at the cost of aim walking stay distance, hip fire, and attack stand spread. The mobility and handling increase is so much better versus the Bore 99 short barrel where you're actually losing a ton of things. You don't lose anything with this. 40 round mags for as many bullets as possible. And then the Rescue 9 stock for tactical sprint speed, movement speed, sprint speed, and recoil control at the cost of flinch resistance and aiming idle sway. You get 12% increase in movement speed, 9% for sprint speed, 9% for tactical sprint speed, and the horizontal and vertical recoil are taken care of. So apparently from the chest and head up, this is actually more powerful than the static HV, and it actually has pretty good like recoil control. So this is something that I would definitely prefer. If this is your weapon of choice over the static HV, then please use this build and you'll have the time of your life. Here's the entire class setup. Take a picture, screenshot, whatever you guys have to do. The Holger 556 recently got buffed and it is so powerful. Like, I'm so surprised at how much better it's gotten, so I have to give you the build for it. Throw on the quartermaster suppressor to keep you up with the minimap, gun kick control, and recoil control at the cost of aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. Once again, you get 11% increase for recoil gun kick, 23% for horizontal, 10% for vertical. Cheerios 6 match for bullet velocity and range, recoil control, and gun kick at the cost of aim down sight speed, aiming out of sway, and sprint to fire speed. You get 20% for effective and minimum damage range and 11% for bullet velocity. You can't really beat that. Then you get a 4% increase of recoil gun kick, 8% for horizontal, 7% for vertical. Put on the broom pivot vertical grip for gun kick control, vertical recoil, aiming out of sway, and firing aim stability at the cost of horizontal recoil, aim down sight speed, and sprint to fire speed. Jack Glassless Optic is my personal preference. I mean, if you like the Choreo Eagle's Eye for this one, completely fine. I wouldn't see a problem with that, but this is what I use when I use the Holger. Finally, the 40 round mag for as many bullets as possible. When I tell you this weapon takes no effort to use and it's just a powerhouse of a weapon, even at like long range, you see how easy it is to actually take down the enemies. I'm just going to show you guys one more time just how lethal this thing is, just show you guys it's not a fluke. This has to be one of the best assault rifles in the game right now. You can basically hit any part of the body and have it can be a lethal shot. So here's the entire class up. Take a picture, screenshot, whatever you guys have to do, because the Holger is insane. Finally, I want to show you guys the Reclaimer 18, and even though everyone's been using the Akimbo recently, I think you guys really need to try the single fire. Now, the beautiful thing is with the Akimbo, I see people taking at least 2 shots to take them down. I don't really see too many single shot kills, but with this, you're going to be able to take them down much faster. Throw on the Bryson improved choke for hip fire and attack stand spread, tighter pellet spread, and damage range at the cost of recoil control and aim down sight speed. The damage and range benefits are pretty nice. If you want the Bryson choke, you can put that on there instead, but this is what I like to use. Discourager 900 heavy barrel for 2 ammo capacity, bullet velocity and range, recoil control, and gun control at the cost of reload quickness, sprint to fire speed, attack sprint speed, and sprint speed. Not really a big deal. You get a range increase significantly by around 15% for effective and minimum damage range, 7% bullet velocity, which is pretty cool. Doesn't really matter too much about the recoil control because this is going to be single fire anyway. Extend TX12 hand stop for attack stand spread, aim down sight speed, and sprint to fire speed at the cost of hip fire spread, which, as you see, it doesn't really move that much. So these handling and accuracy benefits are definitely what you want to have on there. The Haste 15 grip tape for attack stand spread, sprint to fire speed at the cost of flinch resistance, 19% for attack stand spread. This is what you want on there, along with the 12% sprint to fire speed increase. Finally, nose stock for crouch movement speed, sprint to fire speed, aim down sight speed, and aim walking speed. This is incredible. Mobility, handling, and accuracy goes up tremendously. This is what you want to have on there. And here's the entire class setup. But I do want to show you guys one thing. The one thing I want to show you guys is when you guys are using this, make sure you guys push down on whatever you're using, whether you're using a controller or mouse. And I don't really know what the setting is for mouse and keyboard, but whatever puts it in attack stance mode, put that on attack stance mode to get the full effect of this, so you can actually move around like crazy fast and you can still get the job done. This is what this shotgun is meant for. This shotgun is meant for a really fast attack stance move, like strafing around and taking down enemies very quickly. So you guys will see how powerful that is. And here's the entire class one more time, like I said.